It's a
Okay.
clinical sort of.
Shall I start?
Yeah, go ahead.
You're putting the
Yes.
Yeah, Josh, can you share the mantra?
Oh, sure.
You do together or?
we do together, yes.
Yes.
You see that okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Om Sahana Bhavatu.
Om Sahana Bhavatu.
Bhavatu.
Sahana
Sahaviryam Karvavahai.
Sahaviryam
Tejasvi Navadhitamastu. Ma Vidvishavahai. Ma Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti.
Thank you. Welcome all, dear study family from our so many faces. It's great to see you again. It's already a long way which we are traveling together. Our journey began more than a year ago in August 2017, initiated by Sanjay-ji and Chitra. We are so happy that we are all here together now today. In July, when the move was there to DIN group, Rachna, Josh and I could not join on Thursdays, so we started to connect with each other. In July, I spoke to Chitra about our plans to start a new group, and we were happy that she had no objections. Then there was the summer. We were very busy with different family issues. Dr. Hari was in South America and only came back in the middle of October. And then we started to connect again with Dr. Hari. He gave me the actual telephone number of Dr. Gigi, and our vision started to form 1 month ago. We knew we need 2 vaidyas who guide us. If one has no time, the other one has time. Dr. Gigi has been never my direct teacher, but I learned so much from him. This is why I consider him as a teacher too. When I asked him, his answer was, proud to feel your quest for Ayurveda. As agreed, we will do. Josh, Rachna and I shared everything throughout the last months, and so everything started to fall into the right place. First, we thought we start it for us, perhaps 2 or 3 other of the original Aṣtanga Hṛdayam study group family will join, but we were overwhelmed that we got so good feedback, and all of you who are here today for a new start. Honor be to Sanjay-ji, who left his physical body last March, but his spirit continues with us. Why the name Aṣtanga Hṛdayam Sathram? What means Sathram? Sathram is a Sanskrit term which means get together of scholars and individuals. In India, it is practiced Srimad Bhagavat Sathram, that is complete holy Bhagavatam is read and explained by a group of learned persons or experts in the subject over a period of 7 days. Some way, Aṣtanga Hṛdayam Sathram has been visualized as a virtual space where learners and scholars come together and discuss the subject. In this Aṣtanga Hṛdayam Sathram, we want to adopt the method to read the sloka first and then break it down to different individual words and convert it into verse form, Anveya. Next, the literally meaning beyond sloka is given, and then elaborate in depth, the meaning will be explained. If necessary, quoting commentaries and other related texts. At the end, the debate is initiated between the teacher and the taught of everyone. This means the first 30 minutes will be the teachings, and after there will be 30 minutes to questions, discussions, and see how we can adopt it to the present day. I want to give another short introduction. In 1994, after giving almost all my belongings away, I traveled on the road to the motherland of Ayurveda, to India. My way led me from Germany to Poland, through Russia, Mongolia, China, Tibet, Nepal, North India, and to very south. Dr. Gigi and Dr. Hari, both of them I met in the beginning of my journey of Ayurveda. Both of them are belonging to a traditional Ayurvedic family. Their parents, as well as their children, their wives, all are involved in the traditional Ayurvedic line. There's a strong foundation in both of them, and the deep dedication to Ayurveda and the Shastras can be clearly seen. Both of them live Ayurveda and not only talk about it. When I got to know Dr. Hari, he was a very devoted shishya of my yoga teacher, Dr. Vasudevan, as well as Ayurvedic doctor. Dr. Hari has studied extensively Sanskrit and the Shastras. All of you know and appreciate him already. Now, at the moment, in the last days, Dr. Hari is teaching an international Ayurvedic class up to 20th of November. And therefore, he's very busy, but he wanted to be with us today, and glad that you are here. Dr. Gigi Gangadharan was working at that time when I came to India and my Ayurvedic journey started as a technical director at Ayurveda Pharmacy, Coimbatore. He was a founding member as well as the executive director of LSPSS, an all India network of individuals and organizations working to promote local health and traditions, and continued his Ayurvedic practice treating the patients. Dr. Gigi is working much in different levels, from the grassroots level of the public health and prevention, as well as on the level of government, national and international level, propagating the true essence of Ayurveda. For him, it is also a goal to help to uplift the study of Ayurveda again in the level concentrating on the essence of Ayurveda and not copying the style of the study of modern medicine, as it is done today in India. Nowadays, only pieces of the text are taught for an Ayurvedic student at the college. But first you should learn basic darshanas, philosophy, and the worldview of Ayurveda. Then to pick up the classical texts such as Aṣtanga Hṛdayam and learn each sloka to let your mind get accustomed to Ayurveda. Dr. Gigi will only refer to classical text because the other Ayurvedic books, including the BMS textbooks, are all substandard. Over the years, I met Dr. Gigi and Dr. Hari occasionally when I was in India, or Dr. Gigi I met as well several times in Germany when he was either traveling to some conferences or was delivering a speech at some congress. More details about them you can find on our Aṣtanga Hṛdayam Sathram Facebook page. Both have already done and achieved so much in their lives that time does not permit to talk about everything now. And even on the Facebook side, it's not complete. We are happy that they want to share their deep knowledge with us. We can see ourselves as very fortunate that both of them are ready to share their knowledge with us. Thank you.
Thanks, Heike. Okay.
So thank you. Shall I
Thank you.
start with?
Please.
Yes.
Before getting to the slogas, just few minutes I'll give. I try to give, or I try to contextualize this kind of a learning process from Indian perspective. In Gita, Bhagavad Gita, it says, the knowledge that vidhi pranipadena pariprasnena sevaya. There are three components from a Shishya's perspective to learn. One is paying respect to the place of source of learning, individual or institution. Second is analyzing what is being learned by asking questions. On questions, pariprasnena and sevaya. Seva is the third component where you do something, give some kind of payback in terms of your gratitude or your thanksgiving or other things. This is what Gita says to how to learn any knowledge. And I believe that knowledge is the only thing which increases by giving. So it is a both way it is gainful. A student also gains and the teacher also gets sharpened their understanding of the subject. I am not a regular teacher. I am basically a practitioner and has been working on the text on day-to-day basis because of my interest in the subject. I believe that what you see as Ayurveda today is only a fragment of actual Ayurveda. Even best of the best practitioners are not able to imbibe the full strength. And what we see today floating around is the tip of the iceberg rather than the actual science. Science is waiting there to be explored more and more. And when we come to the subject of Ayurveda, especially Rtucharya, I want you to maybe recollect that Rtucharya is very important area to understand Ayurveda's comprehensiveness or holistic perspective. In a medical science or a health science, to give this much importance to Rtucharya shows its characteristics in terms of that how the microcosm, the human system, the human body, or the living beings, and the macro system outside, the macrocosm, the universe around us are connected. How the gross and subtle changes that happens external world influences the body, and the art and science of Rtucharya is how the dynamic equilibrium of body's ever-changing internal mechanism, internal environment can be corrected so that one lives in harmony with the nature. This is actually the purpose of Dinacharya and Rtucharya. The Rtucharya is a very less understood and less practiced part of the science because it is not easily comprehensible. And Rtucharya also differs from geography to geography, place to place, tropical to alpine and kind of things. And Acharya says in the first shloka itself, we'll come to that, that is not the time of the, it is not the month or time of the year that is to be taken into consideration. The lakshanas of Ridus, it talks about 6 Ridus in a span of 12 months. And each Ridu is having around 60 days. And these Ridus will not be as explicit or as distinguishable or distinguished in every places. The ideal Ridu that has been explained in Ayurveda is to connect to the Gangetic plains of India, above the north side of the Ganga. If you come to the south side of Ganga, the Ridus little bit changes. That is why some of the regional acharyas have given a new Ridu in the name of Pravrit before Varsha. We'll come to that later, but I am just giving you, the Ridus are not directly always connected with the months which are given, which starts with Magha, Falguna, Chaitra, Vaishakha, Jyeshta, Shada, etc. But that is a very good indicator to understand the deviation that is happening in the Ritu. For that, we can make use of that months. But Ritu should be considered by its Lakshanas. And in all the texts, lot of importance are given to explain what happens in the body and in the nature in each Ritu. So if you look into 6 Ritus, Shishirodha Vasandascha, Grishma Varsha Sharad Hima, that is cycle. I have tried to collect one of my earlier presentation. I don't know whether you can see it, how these Ritus are can be seen. What it says is that the development of Ritu, which are basically divided into 2 zones, Adhanam and Agneyam, Dakshinayanam and Uttarayanam, or Adhanam and Visarga. All the Ritus, a year has been divided into basically 2 zones. One is a zone where energy is being lost from the body gradually. Other one is the zone where the energy is being gained by the body from the nature. So it's a very beautiful understanding of the external universe and how we can correct it. This is the basics of Ritu, and the Rtucharya, or the Ajaranas, or the behavioral patterns that is to be followed by someone, is the actual thread which connects these 2. So let me connect you with the role of a physician here. Actually, the role of a physician here is that it's of a conveyor belt. A conveyor belt is the thing which will collect things from one source to another source. A physician knows, because of his expertise, what are things that is lacking in the body in a given point of time, how it can be corrected by the things which are available in the external source. So if you read Rtucharya, in this background, there is lot to learn. Then all your medicines, advice in a condition, understanding a person's living atmosphere and living geographical place, the climatic zones, the season in which the disease has emerged, everything comes to help you, and you will be able to make use of it so that you have to use minimum interventions from external sources to correct this condition. I think this much very, very brief introduction is required to understand Rtucharya. I am sure Dinacharya you have been seen how it is affecting the body's rhythm. Here Rtucharya is telling you how the external external changes influences the human system. Is that much is, if that much is clear, I can get into the first shloka of Rtucharya, which talks that Shishirakyam Athado Rtucharya Adhyayam Vakyasyamaha Idi Asmaha Ratrayadayo Maksha. This is the tradition in India we follow, that whatever is written by me or the Acharya is not his self contribution, it is taken from the authoritative source. So it is here the Acharya is connecting the knowledge to the Atrayadi Mahārshis, who are the intellectuals of who actually recollected Ayurveda and gave to the people in the world. And the first shloka is Masehi, this one Keihi, Mahadhehi, Kramal Shad Ridava Smrda. As I told you, there are 12 months which can be taken from any text, and each 2 months, 60 days, constitute one Ritu. So Shishirodha, Vasanta, Grishma, Varsha, Sharat, Hima. These are the 6 Ritus. In this, the first three Ridus constitutes the Uttarayana Kala or Adana Kala, where the body loses its strength in comparison to the Dakshinayana Kala or Visarga Kala. And Shishira Ritu should be, the Lakshanas are given. Shishiroda Vasandascha Grishmo Varsha Sharadhima Shishirade Tribihi Taistu Vidyat Ayanam Uttaram Adanam Cha Tada Tad Adatte Nranam Pradidinam Balam Tasmin Kadyartha Tikshnoshna Ruksha Marga Swapavada. This is in a nutshell the characteristic of Uttarayana Kala. The all place becomes Ruksha, dry, and Ushna and Tikshna, because the Balam is being taken away. So one has to be very careful to recook the body with best things which are Snigdha and Ushna Sabhava. In this Ritu, we always advise to take Sadhu, Amla and Lavana Rasas predominant food, because Vada is highly vitiated in this time. Generally, this Shishira can be connected to Magham and Falgunam. Even though there are some mix-up can be there in some places, it can be Falgunam and Chaitram in some places, sometime, but generally Magham and Falgunam are taken, which can be roughly related to English months that February and March kind of time. But as I told you, Ridus are not to be compared with the months or time of the year. What you have to see is the Lakshanas. So the tropical country like India, especially southern part of India, southern part of the Ganges and northern part of the Ganges, there are distinct Ridus seen in India, where the Varsha is long in south and Shishira is very long in north. Shishira is very short in southern tip. Shishira and Hemanta is very long in the northern part. So with this understanding, if you look at Ridus, we will be able to understand Ridus' significance in any given context. And in the Uttarayana Kalam, what you have to be clear about is that what are the rasas to be taken, what are the gunas to be taken, which are the doshams that are going to be taken in that time, how to pacify it. That will come in the slogam by slogam when we take into the each Ridu, Chatya and its Vidhi. So you can see the next sloga. So Aditya Pavana Saumyan Kshabendi Gunan Bhuvaha Tikta Kashaya Kadugo Balinotra Sakrama. Here the Tikta and Kashaya and Kaduga, these three rasas become more balavan. It becomes more stronger in Shishira, Vasanta and Grishma Ridus. So that's because of that, this time is known as Agneyam. So this is taken as Agneyam. I think this time we look into only the Uttarayana time of the Ritu, which is taking the Balam away from us. And Varsha, Sharad and Hemanta are the three Ridus which are giving you Balam. And this can be divided into months, which can be divided according to the dosha predominance. This can be understood by the gunas to be taken in that time and should be also understood by the rasas that has to be compensated. So in Shishira Ritu, we will come across, we have to be more of Sadhu, Amla and Lavana. Vasanta Ritu, we should have Kadu, Tikta and Kashaya. And Grishma is the Ritu where we say, because of the Bala, it's the most depleted state, Madhura is highly recommended. Probably this is the only Ritu is Madhura is highly recommended and other rasas are not recommended because of the Grishmata or Ushmata or Rukshata of the Ritus. Is that clear up to what I have just taken first 4 slokas only in this one, and the next one is Visarga Kala we are coming to.
I have a question. Do all can follow the Sanskrit terms like of the different tastes or of the different seasons?
I've been okay.
Are you aware of? Sorry, have you got a table of Ridus and Rasa, Guna and Doshas and Balam in that Ridu? Would like to, have you seen it or have you looked into it from that perspective? Each Ridus?
I think
I can also pull it up on the, I can show it for a minute. Just gonna find it. I think this is all of them right here. Can you guys see this?
yes.
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to keep going, Dr. Gigi, or do you want to take questions?
Now I want to take today only the Adana Kalam. There are 3 Ridus. 3
Okay.
Ridus I want to take in the next Ridu. That's why I stopped there.
Okay.
We'll come to know how much I have communicated, even though I have explained, but whether there are gaps in understanding it or any more explanations are needed. So another 30 minutes we can spend on that Adhanam. So Adhanam and Visargam understanding is very important to go to the individual Ridus. Individual Ridus only become the part of these 2 zones of climates.
Okay.
Any questions in that? Shishira in the 6 Ridus and how it is connected?
I have, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I have one question. So you said that there's half the ritus have a more building effect on the body and the other half have a more depleting effect. Is that consistent across all the world, or is that just India?
It is consistent to all over the world. Only difference is that the length and the duration of Ridus differs from place to place. For example, a tropical country like India, in the northern part of India, the 6 Ridus to some extent are very distinct. If you go to the Alps and other things, the Hemandam and Shishiram may be long and Varsha may be very little. And Vasandam and Shishiram, Vasandam and Shishiram may merge together. And Sharat, Hemanda and Shishira actually the cool season, that also will be longer. So we have to see, and that's why when we explain about the Hemanda Rtucharya, it says about Shishira and Hemanda are given same charyas because of similar qualities. So then we have to interpret. So Ridus should be always interpreted by its lakshanas. Lakshanas means the signs and symptoms it shows. So we will come to each Ridus signs and symptoms in next slokas onwards when you come to Hemanda Ritu.
Okay.
So if you are seeing it in a place like in Europe, you should consider this the Ritu there. You should not need not match with the time of the year. Ridus are always understood by Ritu Lakshanas.
Okay.
So it is told by Acharyas in different places that don't expect to have these 6 Ridus everywhere. In Kerala, we have got 4 Ridus. 2 Ridus, Shishiram is not there. It merges with Hemanda. And northern India, this Pravat Ridu, the long Varsha is not there. The Shishira and Hemanda is long. This has been told by different acharyas. I can quote slogas, even Bhava Prakasha tells about it. So 6 Ridus are actually general indication of the changes that is happening in the nature, how one should accommodate body's condition to suit that so that body does not get affected. Agni and metabolism does not get affected by the external changes. How you tune your body to the external source. So always look at Ridus with their lakshanas, not anything else. And don't expect to have 6 Ridus in every spheres of places.
Right. Thank you.
I was going to ask, in terms of determining, well, I guess the lakshanas, when you say that, that means the signs and symptoms that people experience during that time, as well as what we see in the environment, correct?
Yeah, the environmental changes will be reflected by body's experience also.
Okay.
Any changes which will be carried by a change in the temperature, change in the moisture, change in the force of the wind, change in the flowering pattern of the place, change in the underlay and the river. All those things are part of Ritu. These are all combined Ritu. So all those things affects humidity, everything changes.
Mm.
And basically the Dakshinayana and Uttarayana is one of the etiological factors for Ritu changes. So Dakshinayana, we call it as of Saumya. So that is what we divide into Adana and Visargam later.
Mm.
Is that clear?
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it sounds like that also would kind of encompass, I was going to ask, are there specific gunas that you think about in terms of determining what the season would be in, translating it into your region? But it sounds like that is kind of maybe grouped in with lakshanas, and we're going to get to that later.
Yes. And the Ridus are also, there is a merging of Ritu. We call it as Ritu Sandhi. Ritu Sandhis are the last few days of the Ritu and first few days of Ritu. Mm-hmm. That time also are very critical for body's corrections. So whatever changes we actually do is we do in the Ritu Sandhis. And most of the treatments told in Ayurveda, especially Panchakarmas, are done in Ritu Sandhis. Mm. That's the time where body can be manipulated better. And
you said that's the time when the body can be manipulated better? Is that what? During this time?
See, in Prakriti, when the Ritu changes, the doshas in the body also gets into a state of transition. Mm. So any dosha can be eliminated in a stage of transition rather than the stage of stability. So there is a method in we follow that Shidodbhavam Hṛdayam Vasante Vishoden Gitmagam Pragale Khanate Vashigamasu Sammek Prapnodi Rogan Ritujana Jadu. So this is how each Ritu, when changes, we understand the transition of doshas and that particular doshas are removed. This is a subtle aspect of Rtucharya.
I have one more question, Dr. Gigi. I'm not sure if I'm reading too much into this, but I'm just looking at the names of the different seasons, and they correlate with some of like the nakshatras. Is there an astrological piece to that, or is that just an astronomical correlation? Like there's Jyeshta.
Nakshatras, which one?
Yeah. Like I can see that like there's Magha, Falguna. So some of the, are these just astronomical correlations rather than like an astrological component?
No, that is astrologically also these months are used. That is a different purpose.
Okay.
We are using that. It's a universal attribute. 12 months are universal.
Just the
so
seasons.
We have given names to each month. And there may be many reasons for that. Maybe astronomical, spiritual. All those reasons may be there. Makam. why it is called Magam, Falgunam, Chaitram, Vaishagam, Jeshtam, Ashadam, Shravanam. It is all the name of the months, and it has got its own other implications too. That's a very different subject area.
Okay.
And each month has got 20 nakshatras, 28 nakshatras coming in that. Nakshatras got its influence, and Adivadam, Manthavadam, all those things are there. But I don't think we should get into that. But
it's another class. Okay.
And I am not an expert in that. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody else with questions? That's all.
The balam in this Adana kalam is even though it is a balakshaya kala, even then the balam most best is in the Shishiram, and Vasantam is Madhyam, and Grishma is the Hina. At the time the sun is in its uppermost level of action and more near to the globe.
Namaste, sir. This is Bhaswati.
Yes.
Namaste.
Namaste.
I wanted to ask if the Ritus always have their Sandhi around the 20th or the 21st of the Gregorian calendar month, and if that's a coincidence or if it's purposeful that it's always around the 20th.
What I read is that last 7 times of the Paurnami, that is when the Chandra, the moon is in its minimum form, or the Amavasi, that is 10 days before Amavasi and 10 days after Amavasi. So that's the time we can take for the Sandhi, because that's the time the moon is coming to the lowest level and it is also growing to the highest level. That's the time the moon is in the minimum. That is one way of taking it up. Other way of taking up is that if you take Ritu as if you are able to start, if you understand the extra starting point of the Ritu, irrespective of month, then you have to count the days for that. Then you have to take, which is not always possible. So what we normally do is that each place will have a fixed time for that Ritu. Unless now, because of the climate change that's happening, you can see a big difference in the Ritu that is happening. Actually, it's a very big issue, because that rhythm is being lost by the nature because many other reasons. The nature is being controlled by forces. That forces are affected by the level of indiscriminatory things that is happening, including pollutions of different kind. So the Ritu changes. The Ritu change was not as significant as it is now, some 50 years back, or when this book, this part of the text is written. Ritu was in its natural rhythm without any kind of imbalance. That time it was very easy to fix the even time of the calendar for Ritu. And those times even the farmers used to fix the date of sowing and nurturing and manuring and harvesting based on the Ritu changes. And each nakshatra used to get connected to Ritu. So that is, if one is able to do that, that is the right way of understanding the Ritu. But that has changed now, and we are so much gross in understanding that these connections are not merely there. But Ritu Sandhis should be understood. If you take 60 days of a Ritu, last 15 days of the preceding Ritu and the first 15 of the preceding Ritu. That is how we can take it.
Thank you.
Professor Ramdas was writing in the chat, I think in Ayurveda for the purpose treatment, the Ritu Lakshanas are generally understood through their actions, influence in the human body. It's very difficult to understand the Ritu just observing external signs and symptoms. That is why Adhanam and Visarga are used in Ayurveda.
I didn't get to the last line.
The last one, that is why Adhanam and Visarga are used in Ayurveda.
Yeah. So generally we go by Adhanam and Visargam, which is easy to some way understand and make use of it. But Adhanam and Visargam alone may not be sufficient in certain kind of Pancharmas if you want to do it. But generally Adhanam and Visargam is sufficient, and this will be there in anywhere in the world, Adhanam or Visargam. Only time span may change. It will be there.
Thank you.
They said the Gangayam Dakshine, the south side of the Ganges, has a long Ritu of Varsha, which they have divided into Pravrt and Varsha. And this is not seen in the northern side of Ganges, where Hemant and Shishira is so long, there is Varsha is too little. So that kind of corrections has to be made when you apply this Ritu principle into the treatment or lifestyle changes. I'll just quote to you from Sushrada. I don't know how many of you have seen that. Bhuyo varshati parjanyo Gangaya dakshine jalam tena pravarsha varshakyo rudu tesham pragalpido. Gangaya uttare kule himavat himasangale bhuya shita matas tesham hemanta shishira rudo. So Acharyas were aware of these changes in different places. And they have given us indication at different places. So when you put in the European context, this Ritu has to be further classified or further group, not classified group, so that you'll be able to use it. Sorry, I stopped it in a few slokas first because first I want to understand how you are looking at it, so that next time I can spend more on slokas and come to know. So I want your reaction to whatever very little I explained, so that next time I'll be prepared properly for your kind of mindset.
So, Professor, I think in the group we don't have like too many people who are very fluent in Sanskrit. So I know you are giving a lot of references of other slokas outside of this Aṣtanga Hṛdayam. So it would be appreciated if you can translate the whole sloka in English. It would be nice, because even for me it's hard to understand some part of the sloka.
Definitely. The Sushrada Sloka I explained a few minutes before. I just had quoted the source of my explanation. That's why I didn't give the meaning. What it means that actually twice told already that northern side of Ganges are, because of the presence of Himaval, that is the Mount Himalaya in the background for long distance, with ice and with cold this thing. The climate in that region, the Hemanta, Shishira, are longer than southern side. And the slogan also says that because of the southern side of Ganges, in South India, especially Kerala, Karnataka, kind of places, the Varsha Ritu is too long, to the extent of which will not be coming to the Varsha Ritu that is explained by Charaka kind of Acharya. There will be Pravrt Ritu before the Varsha. So this is the difference. Even in one country, there is a difference in the Ritus as it appears in terms of its duration, intensity, and strength also. That's what I meant by the slogan.
Thank you.
Can you read the? Can you see this chart which I'm keeping in my hand? Can you zoom it and see? No.
I just made it a little bigger. I can see it okay. I don't know if everybody else can.
I'll send it
It's easier
by
to
my
see.
Facebook also. This will give us how the.
Yeah, maybe if you can email it or put it on the Facebook, we can post it too.
So this is a very nutshell. I have put it in a, how the doshas and gunas and bala of each ritu influences. This I'll put it in the Facebook page of ours.
Yes, that's great.
Can any of you read the sloga once again from 1 to 10 together? Let me see how much. Have you read it before?
You're saying you want us to read it again?
Yes.
Okay.
I have read it, but I want you to read it once so that we are in the. I know how you can divide each words. Masehi diswankhehi makhadehi kramal shadridavaha ridavasmrdaha shishirotha vasandascha grishma varsha sharadhimaha shishiradehi tribihi taistu vidyat ayanamuttaram adanamcha tadadatte nranam pradidinam balam. Are you with me?
Yes. I think now at the beginning it's a little bit difficult for most to recite it, and so like we have done previously in the Aṣtanga Hṛdayam study group, we thought about meeting again like 15 minutes earlier from the next time onwards, and to recite the actual slokas of the Rtucharya. And we thought about first to recite the sutras every time, the first chapter every time, and then the first slokas which we are studying of Rtucharya. And then I think we will be much better prepared for reading.
Because that is important to read, then know each word at least to, then me explaining that sloga will make more meaning. Otherwise, I don't know whether you understood each word of that. And that also will give a kind of imprint in the brain about the words which we are using. So we should use, to the extent possible, only the technical words as such than using the translatory word. For example, Vada, Pitta and Kapha, we never translate. Use that word. So that you get into the system. So if you read the sloga once before and once after, and it will be more useful, because we are doing the Sathram not by just going by secondary resources. We are going to the primary text. So primary text, whomever is there should be able to read whichever alphabet they know. It may not be Sanskrit, but they should know to read it. Otherwise, it will not make much sense if I tell you about the word meaning of that.
We can also post each week and maybe let everybody know which shlokas we'll probably be getting through so that they can study ahead too.
And we can send also the recording of the Rtucharya, the complete one, so that everybody can get it into the ears before going to the class.
We already shared that, right?
We shared that previously, but now we can share the actual one of Rtucharya only of this chapter, and so that everybody can find it in the new Google group.
Rtucharya is actually not a very interesting chapter. It will be interesting when it comes to other areas, Raganal, Padniyam, etc. But Rtucharya is very important, and it is a very less understood chapter of Ayurveda. That way it is important.
Dr. Gigi, what are you thinking as far as how far is your intention to try to get through one shloka each class, or maybe more, or do you just want to kind of see how it goes?
I think at least 10-15 slokas will be able to cover. First day I didn't want to go to more slokas. I want you to know how we are. Then we can, when you get into each sloka, some of them are to be explained only plainly. What I am trying to do is that after that, show its implication. That's what is important. So after telling about the word meaning of each sloka, then explain and contextualize it. That's what I will try to do.
Okay.
So now I have just given you Adana, very brief description of Adana Gala, then we'll come to Sarga Gala, then we'll come to each Ridus. It's only 59 slokas in this chapter. And I think 3 or 4 classes we'll be able to cover that one chapter. That's how I plan it. See, I am not a regular teacher. I am taking it out of my interest and this thing. So it will be little here and there but once I get into the group, it will be more flowing there.
That's great.
But you are much into the subject also, because years ago I saw also an article of you about monsoon diet and about Rtucharya in that way.
Yeah, I have written almost about all the Ridus, small. It's in that Heritage magazine, I think.
Yes.
I think the second half is more important, where whatever I have told can be explained further. And first half will stick to the slokas alone and its implication. Then we'll explain more on 30 minutes. That will be more rewarding than this one. Is that okay? Today we actually had only 45 minutes. 15 minutes went on introduction and all. And I took only 20 minutes for taking the sloka. Next time we'll take more time.
Yes, but today is also a start to be together and to start together, and to have the taste, and like I would like to do after the prayer also some announcements again about future, and so I think it's really fine for doing it in that way. And after the class of today, everybody who's there in the group sure can tell what is their own idea, and so we together can decide how to continue, or what is important to do more, or what is the expectation. And
Yes.
I have one more question too, if you don't mind. I'm curious, Dr. Gigi, how you see climate change affecting this, and like is it just going to make everything kind of haywire as far as people's health, do you think? I mean, obviously, I guess it does, but I'm just wondering as far as with the ritus, how they may change, they may become very different than they were.
No, climate change is going to affect people's life for sure. Not by mere changes, gross changes. Subtly also it will affect your physiology. See, the temperature change itself makes a big change. To me, I believe that even it will change the way your digestive system is functioning. When that microbes is functioning, everything will be affected by climate change. And more and more, we don't have the diversity that is available to us being consumed by us the way it has to be, will be more and more prone for this affection by the changes. See, our immune system, if you look into it, gradually it is coming down. And you see the kind of, not only climate change, the way things are moving, how we are getting away from the nature, including the light you get, the food we eat, the wind we breathe, everything is getting polluted and affected by changes in the environment. How body is expected to cope up? Our gene has got a capacity, but it is stretching too much. And there is a wrong notion also among people that last centuries people's longevity was low. Now longevity has gone up. But they are only discussing on a very, very short span time, maybe 200 years, 300 years, 400 years. We don't know beyond 400 years what was the lifespan. If you see to the literature, Ayurveda kind of a text to write as a separate branch of geriatrics. It talks about the age above 60 and so. That means people have been living long enough to need kind of help. So I don't take it for granted that whatever the recent historians say about the longevity and other things to be as sacrosanct. Many of the things has to be questioned. And this is climate change is real, not like your US president says it is all business talk. It is not so. It is real thing because we can see things are happening, changing in front of our eyes. Kerala never had a flood like this in last 90 years. This year we saw unprecedented kind of influencing our lives. And 60 parts of Kerala came under water, which I never had in my 60 years of my life. When my father could not recollect what happened. So this is climate change is affecting. But climate change alone is not, there are many other factors too. And the challenge is how we will reconcile these conditions. But how beautifully we speak about the Ritu is very, I should say, it is no words to explain. No? How they have gone into details of understanding the change in the nature. And even today, we cannot question its validity by any means. It is only substantiating the truth they have seen. Next time we'll go to the details, how they see and how they are. Even we say that some of the artificial things which we say no today, where they're appreciated by them, and it is the right way if you use it. Nothing wrong in that. That all will come in the next classes. How the heat should be prevented, how the moisture should be reduced, how the wind should be taken care of. All those things are explained in Rtucharya.
Great. Well, I think we're pretty close. Is there any last minute questions, or should we go ahead and do the prayers?
Shanti mantra.
Okay.
Shall I start?
Or you want to put it again?
Yeah, it's coming. Can you guys see that?
No, yes, yes.
Closing mantra? Okay, so I'm going to mute myself too. There's a lot of activity here.
So let us start.
Yeah, we're going to do the Purnamada.
Yes.
Yeah.
Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti
Namaste to all.
Namaste to all.
Namaste.
And I would like to do a few announcements still. After the class today, you can decide whether you want to continue with us the journey of diving deep together into the knowledge. Looking forward for all who want to continue the journey together. And we decided not to give any fees for the course for the first 6 months, but to give a Guru Dakshina. And there we will send an email. You can find the details. And best would be to listen inside to your heart to see what is the class worth for you and send it to the account up till the 19th of November, so that we can send the Guru Dakshina on the of the group on 20th before our next class to Dr. Gigi and Dr. Hari. For me, the knowledge we are learning is no, there's no price for that. The knowledge is, I don't know how much to pay. It's more worth than any money. For those who have not yet done, this is one thing, but we will send an email to that. And for those who have not yet done, it would be great if you fill out the few questions we sent about you and to me, and I will collect it and send it to Dr. Gigi and Dr. Hari. And then 2 persons asked whether they can join into our group. We told first we want to meet only our Ayurveda study group family, our joint family, to meet today. But 2 persons are there who asked to join. One is a student of Dr. Gigi from Singapore, and the other one is one Ayurvedic practitioner from London, where I already have asked previously in the past whether she can join our group. So if you have any objections about that, then please let us know that. And then, last but not least, I want to thank Josh and Rajna for the endless hours that we were spending together, writing on Zoom, on Messenger, on telephone, for laying the foundation stone for today, for the start of the group. And sure, we want to thank you all for your loving and supportive words and for your most valuable presence that you came to join us here today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks to all.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll send out an email too. There'll be more information. So thank you, Dr. Gigi. Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste.